Hello and welcome to Wildin Out. I am Marty B, your usual host, and joining me, I have Dr. Fish and Jordan MG. Excuse me, I have a puppy who just ran in here. It's going a little crazy. So I'll just leave it to you guys. Fish, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for excited to talk some Wild and all the events of last week and some of this week.
Nice. Jordan, I know you've had a bit on your plate personally. How are you feeling?
I'm doing all right. I got COVID for Christmas, but otherwise I can't complain.
Oh, it's better than Cole, I think. Well, glad you're feeling well enough to stick around and be here. Really appreciate it. We have a lot to talk about, more than usual. So let's go to the player of the week. Fish, who do we have for our player of the week?
Our player of the week is none other than F12 Viridian's own Neji Boston. Are you surprised to see Neji here? Well, I'm surprised that this is his first player of the week in Wild. Neji took a convincing 3-1 win over Concerned Mom, which clinched the week early on for F12. However, this is no ordinary match. F12 lost in the main season and took a very close win in the finals over Hair Club. So to see a huge 4-1 week breeds confidence that F12 Viridian is here to stay. And note he brought Quadrino.
Yeah, Quadrino.
In 2022.
Disgraceful.
The prototypical Neji lineup, if we're being honest.
Yes.
Shout out to Geranium Battle for the write-up, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
So, you have it, your player of the week. Let's move over to our meta overview now. So, here on the screen, you'll see what people brought last week. We have 2 fewer Demon Hunter brings, 3 more Druid brings than last week. Linecracker Druid is showing up now. Okay, people brought a bunch of different archetypes the week before. Last week, Druid is tightening up. Now it's Cthulhu and some Linecracker with a few straggling archetypes left. For Hunter, 3 more brings than before, but there's still developments there. We have a drop in odd hunters, and instead even hunter has been rising. We still have Secret and Beast Hunter as well listed there, but those are pretty niche. So primarily it's just odd and even hunter for the class. Mage, 8 more brings than the week before. Linecracker dropped significantly, and Ignite rose.
Oh, Waker.
So Waker Mage had all of its brings shifted to Ignite, and then some. With Paladin, Paladin has been pretty disappointing the last week. -8 brings there as a class overall as a whole. The spread within it is still pretty much the same, with 9 hand buff brings, 3 aggro Paladin brings, and some unusual choices. Surprisingly, Odd Paladin is now a niche deck after being a mainstay. Priest, slight increase. 3 more brings than the previous week. Rogue sees +7 brings, but the class is all over the place, as you guys can see. There's all different kinds of things being brought. Pillager is the most common archetype, but there's only 6 of those still. So, still only a third of the archetype of the class in one archetype, which is not a lot. Shaman sees no change, which is a big deal because Free Shaman was nerfed, but I guess it didn't matter. A Warlock is where we saw the biggest drop, -16 the week before, and this is basically all Mechatoon Warlock. The deck was nerfed, Rod going from 4 to 5 mana. Now people decide they just don't want to touch the deck. Still see 4 there, so there's some modest representation. For the most part, it's gone. And finally, Warrior is seeing a slight uptick. Pirate Warrior is still the most popular. 30 brings there. 3 odd Pirate Warriors, so Baku Gamers, and the single Charge Warrior from Maxibon is left. Now, let's head back to the main screen. We have decks to talk about still. Jordan, we have 2 featured decks. What is our first featured deck of the week?
Our first featured deck is this wonderful rogue creation by Bitbeaker. It is a Death Rattle rogue. I don't know. I haven't played against this deck much. I've seen some of it, and I can't talk about the power level, but I've seen more than one person bring it, like a form of Death Rattle rogue. So it appears to be something.
It
That's
certainly does.
to know about at least.
Yeah. And it did beat Seth. So
yeah,
you got to give it credit there.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's the important part. It beat For Christ, so it's clearly worth talking about.
Yeah, interesting.
Mhm.
The double Snowfall Graveyard in conjunction with Spirit Singer Umbra, right? So you're essentially triggering Death Rattles twice with Umbra, and then when they die, you trigger them 2 more times.
Mhm.
So you're basically quadrupling your Death Rattles with those 2 cards. Pretty strong. And Ankh of the Buried with Humongous Owl as well, and Carnivorous Cube. There's a lot of potential for
It looks
a ton
really
of damage.
spicy if you don't just die. Yeah.
Yeah. So
If you can get your Death Rattle stuff cheap enough to get armor from Morg, and this could be a real
for sure.
threat here into the right decks.
Yeah. Very strong stuff when it gets its engine going.
Looks super fun.
Now, on to the second deck. This one is a blast from the last expansion, actually. It comes from Nice Jewish Owl, who, Fish, you said swept last week, right?
Yeah, Owl got a sweep in his match over a Nubbinator, and this was one of the decks he brought. Inner Fire Priest.
An Inner Fire Priest, yes. You'll notice there is no Inner Fire, so don't get too mad. But there's a Topsy-Turvy, essentially the same thing. The goal here... the goal here, you have Gnomebrigand Infantry and Potion of Madness. Either you use your Gnomebrigand Infantry to buff up a massive charge minion and smack them in the face after you Topsy or Bless, or you Wave of Apathy, steal your opponent's minion, and do the same. So, very explosive. You're always on a clock with this. You never know whether or not they're just going to kill you, and it's super scary.
So, I like how the Priest deck in comparison to Rogue decks like 5,000 dust cheaper.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just no legendaries and still
it's
just
like
as
one legendary for the whole deck. Legendary and an epic and a half. Like the whole deck.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Not counting core clones.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. 2 decks won their matches. Very unique, very different.
Yeah.
So try them out. Now, on to the match recaps. We have 3 matches as always to discuss. Our first one, before we get into it, let's take a look at the top. Fish, can you tell us about the standings before you get into the match for us?
Of course. So, everyone's winner does have some points this week, as they've already got 5 points during the week. So they were initially behind. So it went Rumble Tusk Shakers, F12 Viridian. Then I believe it would have been a tie between Bash Bros and everyone's a winner at 33 to start the week. Team at Any Cost, Wild, Tiger Fans, Hair Club. It's kind of really close. And then Wild THL Fanatics kind of sitting at the bottom with 14 points. So a couple rough weeks. Really nice to see that Bitbeaker did get a win for his team. So hopefully they can start picking up points and maybe get some match wins.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is also a match with your team, correct?
This
we have displayed.
Yeah, so the match on the screen is Bash Bros versus Turdy Wordies Poggy Woggies 2. So this match started out with Nice Jewish Owl getting a sweep over a Nubbinator in week 1. And then the next match after was my match versus Copa. So I was able to even the series up at 4-4 by getting a sweep. And then Python played and went in a 1 over Turtle. And then Reverb versus 9 Eyebrows went to 9, which put them which put us at 10 to, I think it was 10 to 9, where we were leading. But unfortunately, just unfortunate circumstances, Jailstorm and Tavin weren't able to play their match. So Tavin was very busy on the weekend, so he took a DQ win, which is obviously within his rights. So they win the week 13-10. A super close match. I imagine. I mean, could have gone either way going into the final match. So, but good week to them to pick up the victory.
Absolutely. And it goes to show. DQs matter. Make sure to play your match.
Yeah.
On to the next then.
All right.
And Jordan, this is also your team. Tell us about it.
It is. We have Everyone's a Winner versus Team at Any Cost. Wild. This is quite the spread here. We got a lot of sweeps. Starting in the 5th seed, somehow Battle Tagger played in this match as a 5th seed. Don't know how on earth this is allowed to happen, but it did. He swept Pokeniner 3-0, followed up me versus Swag. I decided I'd bring a Quest Rogue, Caverns Below, which of course can't win a Hearthstone game, so I was only able to win with my other 2 decks, and I lost to him 2-3. Again, we have another sweep in the 3rd seed, Tom Carter versus Duocat. We were doing great with those 3, but unfortunately we had to sweep in the other direction with 6J versus OTZ. As with any sweep, you kind of have to lose an unfavorable, so it's sad to see that happen 3 times in one match, in one team versus team series here. Three people just lose unfavorables to the point where they get swept. That's rough. And then thankfully, the other losses we had, they're 2-3. Hazer and King Ogre in the 1 seed, another 2-3, which allowed us to tie, which is better than losing, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you tie, you get
1 point.
Each team gets 1 point.
Perfect.
Collectively on top of the tie.
We take this.
So better than 0. And given the way the week went, I'm sure you guys are pretty happy with the 1 point.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we
very close.
Lost 3 of the 5, right? But because we lost 2 of them close, then they lost 2 of them, we tied. We take this.
Yeah. Very solid.
Very close match. As close as it can be.
One would say. So, on to the 3rd and final match. We have F12 Radiant versus Hair Club. This one is pretty interesting because it's basically a repeat of the finals. And just like the finals, I got a sweep. But yeah, this is a bit more lopsided this time around. Imagine it had to do with Hair Club facing F12 early in the season. Usually, Hair Club relies heavily on prep and previous weeks. And with so little time since the season started, there isn't as much to prep on. So that's why our Play of the Week, Neji, was able to get away with his quad Reno lineup. So it worked out. Rotted fell to Mimnarch. And now the 5 seed on Hair Club moves back to the 1 seed. Just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So that'll be a pretty big shift for Hair Club. Expect Mimnarch to do very well up top. And I don't think Rada will stay at 0-2 forever either.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's always interesting when somebody goes up that many seeds, like they go from 5 to 1, but I mean, so early in the season, it can happen just because of something like this, where their team full points next week, everybody loses but one good person. That person goes up to the 1 seed. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's just the nature of win-rated series.
Yeah.
No PR, lots of shifts early on,
yeah,
and
definitely.
it'll take a few more weeks before things settle. So. Next up, we have a new section of match previews. So in this section, we'll try to feature 2 to 3 matches in the coming week, go over the lineups brought, and we'll feature 1 matchup that will do a bit more of a deep dive in to look at their deck lists and see how things could go in either direction. So if you guys like it, let us know. If not, we'll look into it more and figure out what you guys are looking for. So first up, we have Rumble Tusk Shakers versus Hair Club. This match is happening this week. Lineups are below. You can see who is facing who. No match has happened yet, so it's still 0-0. All lineups are submitted. How are you guys feeling about this? Jordan, let's start with you.
I like those few standout ones. You know, the colors don't quite match the rest of the field. Big fan of those decks. You know, the Pillager Rogue, the Aggro Demon Hunter. That'll be fun to see if that wins a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Concerned Mom has always been big with Pillager Rogue, and
Mhm.
White Delight has been trying his hardest to make Aggro Demon Hunter work since he's just tired of writing about odd Demon Hunter all the time. He really wants just some kind of archetype.
I
to be
played like
viable.
20 games with the deck when he was testing it originally, and it's got powerful things, but it's super fair.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. I think a lot of a very popular deck has become Ignite Mage. If there's not that many Ignite Mages in this match, there's only 4
Did
of them
we-
out of a possible 10, and there is a Waker Mage from Otters, which I know Otters likes Waker Mage.
We
quite
say
a
that
bit.
last week there was only 5 Mechathune Warlocks the whole week,
Yeah, and
and there's
5
6
in
in
this.
this.
Oh, there's
It's
6.
6 in this match.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No,
There's more in this
it's
match
this
than
week.
last week. Oh, that's
So-
this week.
Yes. So this matchup is this week, and
Yeah.
the
All right.
graph that we had was from last week. So
All right. So
Mechathune
there's
Warlock
more.
did increase.
There's more Mechathune Warlock in this match than there was all of last week.
Yes.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I think people are realizing that Mechathune is still fine. I mean, it's not as
It's the right match.
it's not necessarily as powerful because it doesn't
I
have
almost brought it.
Rod, but I think
I was
it's
so
still
close
gonna
to
work.
bringing it this week.
Nice. We
That's
see
very strong.
we do see a Line Cracker Druid from Burnt. That's a very.
I think there's
Burnt-like
one more
deck.
big thing we're not talking about too with this matchup.
Reno Handbuff Paladin from
There
Otters.
is that and there is exactly one Pirate Warrior in the whole lineup for
Yeah.
both.
Yeah,
games.
it's crazy.
That is crazy. Pirate
Isn't it?
Warrior is like
1 week where Pirate Warrior is like one of the worst performing decks, and then everybody just drops it to the wayside.
yeah.
Who needs Pirate Warrior? That deck's not even
It's
tier
such
1.
an
dude.
interesting deck.
Deck sucks. Don't bring it.
It's one of those decks that works on ladder, but I think like in like a scenario like THL, it's a very counterable deck. So I think it's not that difficult to create a Pirate Warrior target lineup. That's pretty good.
Oh, I know, dude. Just bring Copper Hunter and 3 other decks. And
Yeah,
you'll
Copper
smoke
Hunter,
Pirate
3 other
Warrior.
decks, easy.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, who imagine losing to Pirate Warrior?
Man.
Actually, crazy.
Anyways,
It's
I mean,
almost
this
as bad as losing a Hero Power Mage.
Dude, who would do
which
that?
noob lost to Hero Power Mage? Anyways,
Right, let's get
we
into
should
the
get into the preview game.
Yeah,
this
let's
is
take a look. We have
spicy.
Ept Hopper versus White Delight for our deep dive matchup here. So EPT bringing a pretty standard lineup with Handbuff Paladin, nothing crazy there. Cthulhu Druid with double Naturalize. Okay,
Oof.
usually the deck doesn't really rely on Naturalize too much,
Yeah.
but some lists do.
Got the Bog Beam. That's probably fine. There's no Pirate Warrior, right?
Naturalize
That'd
over
be
Bog
better.
Beam there.
Yeah.
A free Shaman featuring Spellward Jeweler and Lightning Bloom, and an Odd Hunter, cutting the Hunter's marks for more tradables. So the big thing I'm getting from this is EPT is trying to get an Odd Hunter target. And it seems like he's got it. White Delight has the Odd Hunter in his lineup. But this is no ordinary Odd Hunter either. He got rid of all the tradables and has Stitched Tracker alongside Boom Pistol Bully and Spellward Jeweler.
Loads
So that's Stitched Tracker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that Stitched Tracker will always pull one of those tech cards that he's looking for, serving as a second copy. Really helps him in the mirror and in certain other matchups as well, such as Ignite Mage.
It's interesting he chose to go for the like naturalized route to like tech for the more greedy lists, the even lock and the Reno Shamans, but then he didn't bring Hunter's Mark. It's like he's like got the read that he's gonna bring slow ducks and he's gonna play even lock, but then he just didn't bring Hunter's Mark. Kind of weird.
So,
but I guess the card sucks, so it's okay.
Beyond that, we have the aggro Demon Hunter that we talked about with double Living Dragon Breath, double Nerebar Weblord, Fellfire Deadeyes in there. We have Kurtrus Demon Render. There's also a Drekthar in there to cheat out minions and a Glide, both as disruption against an opponent and more draw. So very unique build. The only Demon Hunter, once again, that was seen. So
old man,
keep an eye on that. And then besides the what he is self-proclaiming as the Tech W even Warlock, with all those tech cards like Far Watchpost, Grizzled Wizard, Nerebar Weblord, and Urban Unraveler, we have a Reno Shaman with a single duplicate. Do you guys see which one?
Oh, Dirty Rat. It's a double rat. Okay, yeah. This is
double,
the White the Light special.
Double rat.
Yes.
Reno Shaman. I know the Shaman Discord molds every single time they see this, so I love seeing it on screen.
I love it.
This way we can go Dirty Rat into Dirty Rat into Spirit Echo into 2 more Dirty Rats, dude.
Yeah, it's just great. Always nice to see.
By the 5th rat, you'll certainly have hit a Chandler. I mean, it's flawless technology. It
really is.
I love these decks, dude. It's just like the idea of running Spirit Tracker to hit a second Boom Pistol Bully instead of having a Beardo in the deck is just pretty funny.
It really is.
Yeah.
And looking forward to see how this goes down. So, best of luck to both players.
Definitely.
Both teams. Looking forward to seeing the results next week.
Yeah, I feel like I could see this going either way, but I'd probably lean Hopper here. He's got the Righteous Defense technology, naturalized technology. Kind of beats the greedy and the big stuff. And I don't know if I believe in this Demon Hunter, but we'll see. It's like you don't have the Bog Beam for the Demon Hunter or the Druid, but if you play Oaken Summons, they just lose. They're a fair aggro deck. They can't beat that.
And it looks like he's the free Shaman. Looks like it's definitely.
I believe in you. I believe in you, White Thorn.
Yeah, the Shaman with this specific build kind of tends to lean towards trying to beat Hunter as well.
Yes, he took it off of
the jeweler.
Yeah, he took it from you.
As an odd Hunter target, and it worked very well. It ate the ban, so
that's nice.
We do have another matchup to discuss, though. Definitely. One more preview. So let's go on to there, and I'm excited to see those decks too. Tagger Fans versus South Sea Legends here. So we got Triple Lift, Lasagna, Nops, Schmoopy Daddy, and Kenray up against Hyperin, Nin City, Ben from Work, Sinferno, and Blue Thingies. Okay.
We got some aggro paladin enthusiasts.
We do. We got one in Nin City. Also, only one. So there's a bunch of warlocks.
Cute lock.
One Mechathune from Nin City here. And the big thing that I see is there's a ton of cute lock.
Yeah.
These guys really like their cute lock.
Yeah. They too think cute lock is broken.
Pain Warlock is kind of just like big cute lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Pain, yeah.
There's only 3 Pirate Wars. Still pretty low compared to like all of last season.
There is
just the effects of Snowfall Guardian right here. 1 card, just kind of shutting it out.
Yeah.
So
there's also a Hand Mage here. It's bringing the spice.
What is Hand Mage? Oh, Hand Mage, yeah. To Conjurer's Calling. Sure.
So,
let's
talk
about this.
Is that like the
let's talk about
Mage?
the
ETC Warrior?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Before we get to that, I just want to cover the Beast Hunter because we will talk about the
ETC Beast Hunter. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, that is the
Copper Hunter.
Yes, that is the Copper Hunter. Called Beast Hunter here to simplify things. It's named after Copper Scum, who popularized it on the EU server, and it's been trying to make it work for the longest. But it's very powerful. Can win games, including against Pirate Warrior, as some would say.
Apparently.
So yeah,
Their
let's
opponents
check
didn't bring
out
Fire Warrior. They were too scared of the Beast Hunter.
let's check out that ETC warrior on the next screen. We have our match preview between Triple Lift and Hyperin. These guys basically tried outskilling each other, and in doing so, joined the gold 10 meta.
5-10 playing.
What am I looking at? This is insane.
There's a lot to take
I
in
didn't think
here.
someone could submit a lineup where I wouldn't bring one of the 4 decks that they brought. I thought there'd be at least one overlap anywhere I looked.
There's just so much going on here. Let's just take a look at the ETC where I know some people were talking about it. It's like an ETC charge hybrid. Can go either way.
It's
Yeah,
amazing. He thought I brought a big Q lock, so he brought ETC Warrior. He just brought Mechathune lock.
It's such a weird build too, because we're running Captain Galvingar, which hasn't really been in the list before. I do like the Rokara inclusion.
I do.
Dude, that way we can smash our opponent's tour guide at their face. That's insane technology.
Well, the idea is you do it against a Shaman, and then send their Snowfall Guardians to their face and kill them that way.
Yeah. I mean, it could unironically beat the Shaman if it dodges the tech cards in the right way and stuff.
Yeah, it's hard though.
That's the time.
It's very hard.
It's not going to be easy to win with a tier 5 deck. I mean, you got to work for it.
Yeah,
but
it's an ambitious list. Is all.
I think Triple Lifts. We have a situation where he tried to counter the aggro that Hyperin kind of plays on ladder. You know, the Ignite Mage, the Shadow Priest, and the Q-Lock. So he brought these anti-aggro decks.
Pretty much.
And went a little down the rabbit hole, which I also kind of did last week. I think his best chance here is to beat this Priest because it has no charge minions, notably in the deck. So if you just keep it off the board,
yeah, it'll be a challenge though.
You just beat it, right?
Yeah,
if you can do that.
Beyond that, though, it's pretty standard stuff from Triple Lift. We have Hand Buff Paladin, nothing crazy there. Double Rat. I actually think Double Dirty Rat is right in Hand Buff right now. It's really the only way you win certain matchups. Pirate Warrior. You really need those rats early on to slow down the quest line and to provide some much needed defense.
There is a lot of dirty rats
for Ignite because you just can't beat Ice Block without running bad cards like Rebuke. So the Reno
13
Lock,
dirty rats.
Yeah, Reno Lock is fairly straightforward. Very, very anti-aggro in its build. See Soul Rend, Unstable Shadow Blast. Okay, there's just a ton of things here. Just all focused on killing minions. And the free Shaman, also very, very standard. We have a Kazakus Golem Shaper. Not everyone runs that, but it's here. Totally fine. One Boom Pistol, nothing crazy. So pretty standard. Just that ETC Warrior really catches your attention. And then we move to Hyperin. And Hyperin is going full meme here too for different reasons. The whole hula, which noob lost to Hero Power Mage, was made thanks to our friend Triple Lift here, who in fact did lose to Hero Power Mage, and now he has a second chance of losing to it right here.
That's the noob who lost.
Is that the THL meta? You just have to bring Hero Power Mage against Triple Lift?
That is the new THL meta.
Oh boy.
So, but there's a lot of support for the archetype too, right? We see it all featured here: Ice Walker, Spirit of the Dragon Hawk, Arcane Amplifier, obviously the Wildfire, Channel Eye, and more dress Fire Eye package. Okay, just everything kind of jammed in there. It's a good draw too with Book of Specters, Potion of Illusion, and Magister Dawngrasp to play those over again. So deck's never running out of cards. It's always going to have something to do. It's just a matter of whether the hero powers will be enough to take down any of these decks. Beyond that, you got the Mechathune Warlock. Another fairly standard Freeze Shaman. I know this is Hyperin's own build. He's been running Lightning Bloom a lot. And then, as you guys said, this Priest deck is something else. See Drekthar.
Ooh.
What do you guys think? Jordan, I know you were discussing it earlier.
I think it's a deck for sure, but it's it's got the downside of no charge, But Triple Lift also has to be wary of its upside, which is a Weblord on, any early turn. And you're just crying. It's like any of your decks.
Yeah.
And Ruby and Weblord comes down, you kind of just die. So he's got to dodge that, and then if he dodges that, he can just keep it off board and never lose to it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Please played a Weblord on 2 and smoked him. It's like it's either it's that or get smoked, I think.
Yeah, it turns out Weblord.
Against the right deck, you could just play it all out of hand and make a big dude and not have it die. Maybe against the warrior. I don't know. It seems interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Weblord is just a very strong early game minion.
Yeah, that'll help a lot.
So. Oh no! Wait.
Yeah.
Triplet. There's no Barov in that warrior.
No, there's not.
What?
No, well, because he thought he was going to bring Cute Lock. He thought he was going to bring Cute Lock and Shadow Priest and stuff.
Private Warrior.
He cut it last second for one of the bigger cards, I think.
Oh no! Well,
I'm sad there's not a Dirty Rat in this priest list. If we could have Dirty Rats across the board, and what a card!
It would have been very fun to see.
Yeah.
Doing that for 8 stats, insane.
So strong, and deletes your opponent's win condition. Steals it from their hand every time.
That's crazy, bro. Imagine not playing that in every deck you can.
Oh no! Ow!
Okay.
Why you have to dirty rat us? Now we gotta tag our friends too.
Oh my gosh!
All right. Expect that in the copy pasta channel later.
New meta breaker on the way. I'm gonna cut Scientist and Jackson from my Ignite Mage and put in 2 Dirty Rats. My Shaman's gonna Dirty Rat out my Dirty Rat and get so confused. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
There you have it. Our match previews. Hopefully you guys like this. If you do, we'll definitely keep it around. We might add a third one. Depending on time. We're a bit worried with the PPR stuff starting next week. So we'll stick to this format, add that in, and see how things go, because we'd like to keep this within an hour. And if it works out, more match previews is better. So let's go back to the main screen for our final segment. We have our question of the week. And this is not really Conquest related in particular, but it does matter. So we know Blizzard has a January update coming, and they've discussed Wild in particular too last month. Question is, are nerfs on the horizon? This could be standard. You guys could talk Wild only. Either one. Fish, you want to start with your opinions?
I have quite a few opinions on nerfs. I don't know if we're gonna see them right away. Honestly, I think I don't think they're gonna come super quick, but I think in the next 3 weeks we'll probably have something with nerfs. Rogue in standard, Rogue is a kind of a problem class. In general, there's a lot of super strong cards. I mean, I guess Wildpaw Null is one that I personally like to see change, just because of how kind of powerful it is, and it needs to. And I think I don't know, it's just super powerful, and it hasn't seen that much play in Wild. Although, I'm sure there are Rogue decks that would run Maestra and play it. I did run into a Rogue on Wild Ladder running Maestra, and they kind of kicked my butt. So,
dude, Cute Rogue is forking broken.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'm kind of unsure about exactly what to nerf, but I think that they will happen probably in 3 to 3 weeks to a month, depending on how fast they want to do things.
All right, Jordan.
I think of any nerfs on the horizon.
Yeah, do you see anything happening? Do you think things are going to stay the same in the formats?
And if they touch Rogue, and then after that, I think if they want to touch some of the more polarizing in terms of player experience, the OTKs and the whatever Poison Rogue is, if they want to touch those things for the sake of kind of going away from that type of gameplay, that could happen. If you go to Ages Replay, go to Rank Standard, Mulligan win, right? Like, I'm sure Swine Tusk Shank's pretty high on that list. I'm sure Flo's really high on that list. Obviously, as wild players, we all kind of hope they like get Ignite, but I absolutely doubt it. I don't expect it. I would think if anything, they'll hit Rogue and then maybe also Beef Poison and Mizaki. I'd be shocked if they did much else.
Really?
Maybe Demon Hunter if they think that like as a
Kurt.
result Demon Hunter is too strong.
I think
Kurtris.
Kurt would probably be the one DH card I'd look at.
Maybe, yeah.
Man, you guys
But I don't know if I would do that.
have zero hope
depends
for the
on-
format.
For Wild?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Well, sure. You guys don't think anything is going to be touched here?
In Wild? I mean, no, because they're going to nerf all these cards for Standard and let the meta settle, right?
Really? Oh,
I don't think Wild, like, I don't
concern-
think Wild is like as bad as it normally is to get this much hate.
So my concern is that there's a lot of cheaters.
Well, on China, yeah.
Right? It's not just China. They're on other servers too. I know
Right,
Europe's
there's not
really
as
bad
much.
as well.
All right.
And or they've already said like they're looking into it.
Mhm.
But they've been much more vocal about it the last month than before.
Yeah.
And that leads me to believe they're going to want to do something because they clearly
Get
don't
out.
have a way to go through and have massive ban waves, right?
What do they do back in Snip Snap world? They just manually ban accounts?
They would go through individually and try to
Okay.
ban them.
Well, they'll just
And then
do
they
that
would have
again.
ban waves once they did that. But
They'll just
Is
do
it
that again, if
different?
anything.
I don't know.
Is it different?
Yeah, because they haven't actually done it that quickly this time,
Hmm.
right? Because before they would just ban after a few months. There were ban waves that would go through, and then people would just make new accounts. And then eventually they decided, like 8 to 10 months in, this needs to change. We can't have this interaction. And that fixed the bans, right?
Yeah, but
So odds
what
are,
do you do in Wild? I
because-
don't know if they want to nerf a card.
I don't know what
Yeah.
they'll do, but they're probably going to do something to stop or to disincentivize cheaters, basically.
Sure, if they can't actively and successfully get them, sure.
Because it's come to
But
the
I
point
wouldn't
where
consider
it's-
that a nerf, which is why I didn't mention it, right?
Oh, I think
I mean,
it's
this is
still like
a
we're
larger-
still going to see changes. So
You
I guess
think
the
a
nerf
price change
still
as a
count,
result?
Yeah, we'll see
I-
some kind of format changes.
Well, in that case, then my 2 cents is I think there's like a 0% chance Sorcerer's Apprentice gets hit, which means it would be Ignite and they would Dark Lair it, so it's still good in Standard. But then the
Maybe.
problem with that in my head is you kill Minion Ignite Mage and you don't kill the cheaters because they can make more than 2 girls.
Exactly, which
Yeah,
is why
that
they
get
need
their
to
plan.
find a way to kill the cheaters.
Right. That's why I don't think there is a card change that they can do to solve this problem.
Maybe. We'll see. Teach their own.
I mean, I guess
It's-
you could change girl, but I don't see them hitting a card that's 8 years old.
Yeah, it's just it's a hot topic among the community. So I wanted to hear your opinions on this and if
Oh,
they choose to
man.
go that route.
I'd be shocked if they
I-
touched girl. As far as card changes, that's probably the only thing they can hit. Because if you
You don't
make
think they'd
Ignite
hit-
cost 3 or whatever, right? You kill Minion Ignite, but the Luna cheaters with open Waygate and stuff, they make 4 girls, right? And then all their card draw is just free, and then just kind of
You don't think they do
do their
something like
thing.
make Star Geezer Luna 4-mana 4/5 either, with the same effect, or 5-mana
That-
4/5?
they could do. Like part of the
'Cause
reason you
it
don't
slows
ever
down the
hit
combo
girl
a lot.
is it's super long, it's super iconic. Luna's less popular, less old, but it's still
You still played an LPG at a 5-mana 4/5 too, because it still does the
guess.
same thing. It goes down to 1 mana.
But is slowing that deck down by a turn?
Well, here's what you'd do:
Sometimes, not even always, even worth
You would-
it. It's not even matter.
you would get rid of the Director interaction too.
Oh,
Mhm.
I guess that makes sense.
And you're slowing it down by 2 turns. And
Then
2
you're
turns
just
is a
gonna have
big
people
deal.
complaining that they didn't do anything about the Minion Ignite version. So it's
Right,
like,
well, I'm just
and I don't know if the broad wild population, 1, knows cheating exists, and 2, knows what is cheating and what isn't cheating. They just die to Ignite and assume it's cheating. A lot of them. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's
Like,
just-
there was people I was seeing in Twitch chat literally yesterday that like there was people talking about like the standard stream sniping, right? They're like, well, actually, real cheating doesn't exist in Hearthstone. Like, oh man, Pepe laughed. They don't know. Like, I don't think it's as big of an issue as we make it because we're all super high on the
There's so
ladder
many
in the grand scheme of things.
levers. There's just so many levers they can touch to change things and
Right.
maybe fix the problem.
I just hope
It's
they
up to them if they want to
put
do
a
anything
person
in
on
the
it,
first place.
and then that
Yeah.
person just does that work from by scratch if they have to by hand.
Yeah, that's
the
what I'm
optimal,
asking.
ideal solution.
Just do they put a person to that job and do they do it soon?
That's the ideal. I don't think I want them to ban a card either. Like, bans are in general like for uglier situations that affect more people, in my opinion. But
it's tough to say. So, a few more weeks, we'll know what they do because I'm sure they're going to touch something in standard, like you guys both mentioned.
If Drekthar is good in standard and they hit that, that could also help.
I don't know if they'll hit Drekthar yet. We'll
that
see.
won't remove cheating, but it may remove the deck that cheaters are currently using, and then they're back on minion Midnight Mage as their best option. Which, I mean, if you don't need to cheat that deck, right? So
yeah,
like if the cheaters are using minion Ignite Mage to deal an extra ignite or two, I don't think as many people would care because I think you're getting a larger advantage playing the current deck, right?
Right. So
if they nerf Drekthar for standard, then that may help a little bit there. But I'd be shocked if they hit Girl. I'd be shocked if they hit Ignite without dark layering it in some way for like the Mizaki Mage out there. If they want to move away from OTK, and ideally they would just ban the cheaters, especially ones that go on public, BattleNet or Twitter and say I cheat. It's like, okay, let's review these chat logs, guys. Let's get to it. But in general, I don't think cheating's as big of a deal as I think it's being blown out of proportion and it's negatively harming more than. And maybe that's the idea is to.
I don't know about that because it's really bad in China.
Yes.
There are hundreds, if not thousands, of cheaters on that server, and
specifically here, it's a very based regional take that I just gave. But
so, well, there you have it. With that's our show. So, I'd like to thank Fish and Jordan for joining tonight. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys liked. I hope
I was audible.
Yeah, you were good.
That was good. Yeah, that was really enjoyable. Sorry, I was just getting ready for the next thing coming up, but this was wonderful to listen to. I will just say that was a really good conversation.
Yeah. Well, Righteous Jammies. Can we find lethal? Actually, I can count 11 plus 4. That is lethal.
Oh my gosh, that's make me cry, bro.
But
what a throwback.
Yeah, if you guys like the new match previews, let us know. If you want us to keep going or do any deep dives on other things, by all means tell us and we'll look into it. And I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Goodbye.
See you next week, everybody.